Welcome back, guys. Big week in real estate. Want to go over a couple things very quickly, trying to keep this short, but they are already walking back the rate cut talk for 2024, pushing the timeline back after that jobs report. Somehow the mainstream media has also just caught on to the fact that the pandemic migration boom might be over. No kidding, you're about a year late. We also have rents dropping for the third month in a row. Can't imagine why that is, guys. We'll go into it though. And unfortunately, some potentially bad news for residents of Southwest Florida down here, specifically Northport, Welland Park area, West Villages. Pay attention if that's where you're located. They're gonna be rezoning the flood maps again this year. And if you've dealt with that in Charlotte County, you saw it happen here, other parts of the state, you know that could drastically alter your mortgage and insurance payments. So I want to cover all that stuff. I want to take a look at the national inventory compared to Southwest Florida as well, because it's got some interesting trends if time permits. But without further ado, let's jump right in. So Redfin and other outlets coming out and saying because of the jobs report we got, rate cuts are looking less likely in March. People are already starting to say, oh, it's going to be here in May though, probably in May. The mortgage rate is sitting around 6.67% right now. They're pushing the narrative that it has pushed a lot of home buyers into the market. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I haven't seen it happen here in my area, though. We're in a really this is like the dead zone right now. No one really tries to buy between Christmas and this time, but we are getting a lot of listings on. I'll go into that again. You guys know that we have way too many of those, but we're actually not the worst in the country. I found the worst in the country as far as inventory increases, and I'll get into that as well. But yeah, it's not looking like the interest rate cuts are coming as soon as they thought they were. If they do, I don't think they're going to be as drastic as everyone thinks they are. A lot of people waiting on the fence for a refinance, I think, are going to be disappointed here over the next year. I don't think it's going to get into the realm where that's going to help you out. Monthly mortgage payments have dropped to the lowest point in nearly a year, down $400 from this October's high. And Redfin also states their demand index shows about 10% more people out there to buy. That's certainly not going to be enough to do anything for us here in Southwest Florida and some of the higher inventory areas. It could put pressure on towns that only have, a dozen or so listings up in the Northeast, which is very hot, but don't think that's going to push the needle here. And they define their home buyer demand index as a seasonally adjusted measure of requests and tours and other home buying services from Redfin agents, not contracts and closed deals. So that's what I think. So the median U.S. mortgage payment was $2,361 during the 4 weeks ending December 31st. That's down $372 from October's all-time high to its lowest level in nearly a year, because mortgage rates have gone from 7.79% in October down to 6.61. So the problem with that, guys, is it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's depending on where you are, what's your property taxes, what's your insurance, what's your credit, what's your down payment. So when you put stuff out like this and people see it and they're like, oh, I could save $400 a month, you may go to get a mortgage and it will only save you $50 a month in this scenario. It's so specific. I hate when this generic stuff comes out, but that's what they like to do. And Redfin has one of their agents here stating that there have been more tours and more offers on my listings since mortgage rates started declining. It's all about perspective. 2 years ago, buyers would have cried about 6%. Oh my God, I wouldn't have phrased it that way. Now they're happy they've dropped to the mid sixes. Why are you using these phrases? Offers on my listings, more showings and more offers. What does that mean? Did you sell them? Are these closed deals? Do you have more pending sales? Why are we not using those phrases that matter? This is all fluff garbage to me, basically. Back to Redfin again, stating the pandemic-driven migration boom is waning, with the share of home buyers relocating at the lowest level in 18 months. They have their share of home buyers relocating right here on this graph. It's down from 26% in August down to 23%. I don't think that's a humongous drop. Yeah, slightly down, I would call it. And it's no surprise because 2023 was one of the least affordable years to buy a home on record. I don't think 2024 is going to be too much better, though they're trying to spin that it is. And it's another reason, since people aren't migrating while we have so much inventory here in Southwest Florida, but it's not the only one. People tend to forget we actually had a lot of local buyers in the area. A lot of people would come from Sarasota or the Naples area, buy in Charlotte and Northport, or people who lived here would sell and trade up or sell and downsize. But now most people are finding that it just doesn't even make sense, no matter how much money you can make currently in this area, to sell your house and go get another one, because you're not going to be able to afford it. And that's not even factoring in the interest rates. I think if it was just interest rates alone, a lot of people would do it. But then the insurance and the new tax rate. Now, there is something here in Florida called portability for your homestead tax exemption. So you can bring some of the accrued tax savings with you when you move within the state. But even that's not enough to cover because of how high the prices are. We have people who could sell their homes here that they've had for 30 years cash and cannot go and downsize without carrying a mortgage, even though they have all this equity because the prices are so out of whack. Now, Redfin predicts the desirability of cities with this chart right here. It's a net inflow chart, but all it really is the number of redfin.com home searches and where they're looking. So it's not really a metric of who's moving, it's just who's looking. Sticking with Redfin here today, a reprieve for renters cost drop for the third straight month in a row. Nationally, guys, don't get too excited. That's a 0.8% drop year over year. It's a 0.3% drop month over month, but they are still going down because we're building up so much inventory. As you can see, rental vacancy climbed to 6.6% in the third quarter nationally, nowhere near 2008. But hey, we're back to pre-pandemic, it looks like, and I've been saying that. Rents are rising in the Midwest and Northeast, so your Ohio area, New York area, but they're falling in the West and here in the South. And Redfin's economics lead, Chow Zhen, is actually coming out and saying, with rents falling and vacancies rising, now is a good time to shop around or try to renegotiate your rent if your lease is up, especially if you're a renter in the South or West. And guys, I have been banging this drum for months. We just have too many everything. There's a new apartment complex here in Punta Gorda, Parkside. Their prices aren't absolutely insane. I mean, they're in line with all the other apartment complexes, but it's next to absolutely nothing. I mean, there's a Walmart, there's an Aldi, there's a Wawa, but you know, it's $2,200 a month for a 2-bedroom in Punta Gorda, Florida, which, as you'll see, the median income just does not support that. The place opened recently and it looks like a ghost town. So the trend is still here. 6 months ago, people told me I was crazy that rents would go down at all. People are trying to take advantage of stuff here for season and raising them. It's not working out. Our rental inventory is still sky high. Let's take a look here on Zillow. So actually, Charlotte County still sitting at 1,005 homes, a little better than we were doing. We're at 1,030, but they take them. They're playing the inventory game. Most of the apartment complexes will fluctuate that every day. So right at the top there, 1,900 for a 1-bedroom. Good luck with that, boss. I don't know a single person around here that can swing, that's before fees, can swing $2,300 a month working at, I don't know, Publix, Walmart, even a construction job. That's gonna be kind of tough. So good luck to you. So with the rental inventory buildup, guys, it's the same pushback I get with the home prices. Oh, we have 8 months inventory, it doesn't matter. Oh, it matters. It doesn't matter this second, but it's gonna matter in a few weeks, a few months. When you start seeing this cascade, it's gonna go. Same thing with the rental market. Generally, the rental market will lead the sale market, and the rental market is not doing good. I don't know how much long investors can hang on in the area with this much competition and so much corporate building going on and nobody renting these houses. Some of these have been here for 30, 60, 90 days. The only ones getting rented are the ones who are being reasonable. So like Redfin's economist said, if you're out there looking, hey, see what you can do. The asking price does not have to be the leasing price. Again, that's gonna depend on your credit, guys, your history, what you're bringing to the table. The theme, again, as I've told you, for 2024 for landlords is tenant retention. Redfin would not be publicly saying that if that was not the case as well. They need to keep tenants in their properties at whatever cost unless they're gonna lose money. Some people, and I hate to say it, but in some cases for landlords, it might be smarter to lose money than lose a good tenant for a year or two. But that's everybody's individual decision. So that's where we're at. You know, the rental market is softening. It's not a fast accumulation, guys. It's just like housing. The rental inventory has built up astronomically over the past 6 months, and the housing inventory has followed here as well. I think, you know, prices are softening across the board, though, like I mentioned, December might be up slightly year over year. But the trend is here. It's not going to happen immediately, but the trend is your friend. Now on to Northport's flood maps, guys. I will put a link in the description if you guys want to check if your flood zone's being rezoned. This could be potentially catastrophic for homeowners, especially new purchasers who are on a fixed income or fixed mortgage. This happened here in Charlotte County last December. What they did is they came in, they rezoned flood maps. So things that were in an X flood zone, which was a low risk, got moved into an AE flood zone or higher risk. Well, overnight, your insurance changed. If you were in an X zone and you're not on Citizens Insurance, generally you do not have to carry flood insurance if you have a mortgage. But when you get put in an AE zone and you don't know about it, your mortgage lender is going to force flood insurance on you. They're not going to find the cheapest policy, and your escrow is going to jump pretty significantly month over month. So you may find yourself in the exact same situation as these condo and HOA owners who are seeing their fees go up immensely. You may see the same thing with your escrow account. And if you're in an HOA or a condo association, this could be even worse. I had a deal in December 2022. I know the exact date that they rezoned Charlotte County's floodplains. It was 12/15/2022 because we were supposed to close on this condo a week later. I was the listing agent. Get a call from the lender on the buyer's side. I need a copy of the master flood policy for the association. So they don't have a master flood policy. They're not in a flood zone. They're not required to carry that. Oh, they're in a flood zone now. What are you talking about? I look it up. Sure enough, small portion, very small portion of the corner of the property got rezoned into a flood zone. Well, the lender won't lend on it now unless the entire association carries a flood policy. It's not good enough that just your unit has it. That's not good enough because you've got to pay for all the damages if anyone else's house floods. That's just how associations work. So luckily, we were able to get creative and keep it together. But now, everyone else in that condo complex that was going to potentially sell can't sell to anyone who has a mortgage. Has to be a cash deal. What do you think that's going to do for values? What do you think it's going to do for values if that flood rezoning doesn't get appealed and rezoned back into what it was? What do you think that's going to do for values when their HOA has to now increase to cover that, or an assessments levy? So these are the kind of things, these are the ramifications these changes can have. Even regular homeowners, it can be very, very drastic. Guys, again, check down the link if you want to see what your address is looking at in the future here. It's not the entire city, but it will show you if there's going to be a proposed change. And apologies, guys, does not look like I can get to the inventory on this one. I'm going to do it on the next video. But thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe. Definitely check the next one, and I'll see you next time.